Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! Here goes the mother! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
We need if you can survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and join me once again is my brother, Tommy. How's it going, Tommy?
I am good. How are you doing?
And joining us virtually is our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How's it going, Richard?
What's up, guys?
Once again, happy belated Thanksgiving. I know we already said that via text the other day, but here we are wrapping up the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. So happy Thanksgiving to you.
To me?
To you, yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying that to the clickbaiters out there.
Clickbaiters, the Kliqsters.
No need to
that's
comment.
it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, but here we are back at it on the nice little 4-day weekend for most of us out there. So a lot of stuff to talk about this week in pro wrestling. So let's just jump right into it. A lot of stuff to power through. This week was the second full week of MLW's return, MLW Fusion. That's their main show. And so we didn't have a chance to talk about last episode, but all three of us, we caught up. We watched the first two episodes of this whole restart, this jumpstart for MLW. I'll start with you, Richard. Just kind of your initial takeaways, any special highlights for you of MLW's big return?
Everything's been really, really solid thus far. I'm going to say that Myron Reed's kind of standing out to me as better than before he left or before the pandemic. Okay. Hammerstone, always interested in what he's doing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Filthy Tom Lawler's shorts are very distracting.
I cannot get over that. I'm like, what is going on with him?
They jorts. They're like Daisy Duke
booty shorts.
It's really, really odd when he's coming out to a song that's saying "We will kill you."
Yeah,
jeggings.
Yeah,
those were popular like in the early 2010s. With women.
Yes,
there's something very what's his name, Maynard from Tool about this.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I'm with you. I've been really digging everything they've been doing. Very simple setup. I mean, they've been doing three matches per show. Got a lot of promos, backstage segments. They got some commercials promoting MLW Shop, and so no, it's been very easy to consume. So I cannot recommend enough for all of you to go watch it on their YouTube channel. Subscribe to Major League Wrestling on YouTube. But Tommy, you brought up good observation. Just some of the things that you've been liking so far with MLW.
Yeah, just with the whole. They're starting up again the Opera Cup. And, we had just had the finals of the Heritage Cup in NXT UK, and Ring of Honor had their Pure tournament.
Yeah,
it's just great to have these tournaments. Start up again. Post. During the pandemic, and it's a good way to start over and have some good storylines involved.
Yeah, so Richard, that's something Tommy and I were talking about before we hit the record button. So we've been noticing a little bit of a trend as far as all these various promotions or wrestling shows starting back up who were off the majority of this pandemic thus far. And as Tommy just said, Ring of Honor had the Pure tournament. The Heritage Cup tournament and the Opera Cup is here. So I think it's a great way for them to kind of jumpstart the company. Just throw these matches together because it's a tournament, so it's just all these random matchups. So you don't have to worry necessarily about building up feuds right out of the gates. But use this as a way to create some new storylines. So I think that for MLW, it's really great that they've been using the Opera Cup to their advantage, because it's been almost a year since the last one. So I think it's just a smart move on their part, just to kind of get all these different guys together in one room and put on these great matches. Also, Richard, I just thought your thoughts. It's pretty cool that they're kind of getting some help from other promotions as well. We see guys from New Japan, Impact. Is there anyone else I'm trying to think of? But I'm trying to think of the promotions. Ring of Honor. I mean, I think
Mexico.
Mexico. Oh yeah,
AAA.
AAA. Yeah, thank you. Yes. Yeah. So I think that's just cool for MLW that they're having open arms as far as letting other promotions come in.
Yeah, and if you think about it, these tournaments remind me of like the first IWGP tournament in New Japan in '83. You know, it's kind of the same premise.
Other people coming in and talent sharing.
Yes.
So yeah. We'll quickly run down. So the first episode, the restart from last week, it was great seeing Hammerstone come out and just pretty much have a squash match and just dominate and come out there just swinging. Literally, I think it was 20 seconds or something. The match. He even posted the whole video on his Instagram. He's like, boom, done. Short match. And then Richard, as you just mentioned, Myron Reed, who's the current world middleweight champion, took on Brian Pillman Jr. And it's been a ongoing feud for them going back to earlier this year before the pandemic. They had a little rivalry going, and so I'm glad they were able to get that going once again and see where that goes. And then Myron Reed, post match, calling out Leo Rush. So Leo Rush, who's I don't know if he's officially signed with MLW, but he's going to be making appearances for them. Yeah. So he challenges Leo Rush. That should be a lot of fun in the near future.
It's like a freelancer.
Yeah, I mean, also looks like TJP is also doing that. We'll get into in a second. But I want to hear your thoughts on the main event for that first episode. Jacob Fatu, the current MLW World Heavyweight Champion, taking on Davey Boy Smith Jr., a battle of two big hosses in the ring.
It was really weird because I thought that they had that match, and the announcers made it clear that this is the first time it's ever happened. It's like, I thought it was pretty great. Fatu's got himself in better shape.
Yeah.
Not like his shape ever hurt his ability in the ring before, but my God, can he fly now?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. It was, I like in the beginning, they were kind of like constantly like running into each other and like, trying feats of strength, and they couldn't really budge one another. And then it got a little technical because Davey Boy Smith, he's been training, a lot of like the MMA stuff. So it got some technical ground and pound type stuff. Yeah. And then I love just, things start picking up towards the end, and Jacob was able to, do his dive off the rope and, get the victory there. So cool for Jacob just getting it back out there. But Hammerstone comes out, and pretty much he's been calling out Jacob for the longest time. I love he comes out, he hits one of like the security guys, boom, knocks him out. And then we see like this big man with a mask come out the chair and just knock Hammerstone to the ground. I think he's called like the Black Hand. That's his name. So it's like a mystery, a new addition to the Contra unit faction. So I don't know who it is. I mean, they've been teasing on the follow-up episode. So I'm kind of curious who this person is, if we'll actually get like a full reveal or if he's going to remain with the mask on.
I think I might have a good idea who might be, but
who do you think?
He was in MLW before. He's a tall guy.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look at the
bald-headed guy. Oh, I think he challenged Mance Warner or someone like that.
Okay, we'll take a look at that and maybe get back to everyone about that one. So,
but I could be wrong.
But no, Rich, I want to ask you. So, do you think Hammerstone is turning babyface here?
Inadvertently, kind of like how Austin did.
Yeah.
Not comparing him to Austin by any means, but I think he's definitely a fan favorite. But then again, I think everyone kind of is, since we've come out of pandemic with this.
Yeah.
Because they haven't seen everyone, so it's just kind of everyone's hot.
We miss everyone.
So it's like a tuner then.
So,
but when you've got a heel against a heel, you're gonna pick who's the lesser of the two evils, and Fatu is definitely the more evil of the two.
Exactly. Right. So, I'm digging Hammerstone's, presentation thus far, just being a true badass, and he's got his title Jacob Fatu's got his title, and so eventually looks like it's going to be, champion versus champion at some point. And so who knows? Maybe one of them will become a 2-belt champion of some sort. So something to look forward to. So Jen, jumping ahead to this week's episode of Fusion. So speaking of Hammerstone and the Dynasty, his faction he's a part of, his faction partner Richard Holiday had an opening round match for the Opera Cup, and he took on TJP. And TJP's been very busy doing, as I said, stuff for Impact. He's done stuff for, I think, New Japan's Strong show that's based in Southern California. Mm-hmm. So TJP's been bouncing around, getting matches wherever he can. So good for him. A little bit of a shocker, though. Richard Holiday pulls out the victory, but I kind of anticipate all the MLW guys are going to win their matches against the freelancers, showing up for
outsiders.
The outsiders. There you go.
Outsiders.
So, but no, Richard, your thoughts on this match here? Richard Holiday, I was really impressed with him.
I thought it was good. I'm not the biggest TJP fan by any means, but I do. Right. I can heavily appreciate his in-ring talent. I think he's a very good in-ring wrestler. It's just something doesn't click with me.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
For Richard Holiday, I was just glad to see him back in the ring, and he has a great mixture of like the technical stuff, but also some power moves.
It kind of worked to his benefit without the crowd there, and you could hear him talking with the referee that I'm not ready yet. My ear pods are still in.
Yeah. Well, he is the AirPod god himself, and so I like how
he's got a great demeanor.
He said stop, and he pulled out the little case to put of them in there. So that was kind of cool seeing that. And then next up, another squash match, making his debut for MLW, Calvin Tankman, a big boy right there.
Big man.
Tommy, I know you were really digging his. This guy,
he's got the Dusty Rhodes body,
which is good. I mean, he's a big hots out there,
but he kicked ass, I thought.
Yeah, no, Richard, how about you? Calvin Tankman making his first appearance officially.
He reminded me of a young Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah. Athletic. He was able to jump up and down.
That finisher he used, especially because that looked like the greetings from Asbury Park, and I was just like, that's good.
Yeah. So I would love to learn more about this guy and his whole backstory. I don't know what his age is or anything, so hopefully we can get some more info about him. I really dig that.
You should get him on the podcast.
Maybe I should. I will try to work that out. There you go. I will do my best to get him on here. We love MLW, and their roster is great to get interviews with. We just saw a quick little promo. Joseph, is it
Joseph Samael.
Samael. Called out Hammerstone. Well, first off, Hammerstone. So they got Hammerstone on the phone, and he just kind of they went over his list of injuries that he suffered from that.
He's just getting an update.
I like that he had a whiplash from the chair shot.
Yeah.
And they had rib injuries like Drew Brees they referenced.
Yes.
And so, but Hammerstone's like, me, hey, listen, I feel like about 80%. Me at 80% is much better than 100% for all these guys on the roster. But then Contra Unit, which throughout the night they like the little like static, like they're interrupting the broadcast.
Yeah, the little snippet there.
So Joseph jumped on and called out Hammerstone. So this is definitely going to happen in the very near future,
and I'm down for it.
Last but not least, so the main event. So it was Filthy Tom Lawler taking on Rocky Romero from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Another opening round match for the Opera Cup. And Richard, I was digging this. It was very technical, also very ground and pound. But then towards the end, Rocky Romero was kind of running back and forth, like clotheslining Tom Lawler in the corner. And it started getting some more power moves from a couple of smaller guys.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of Rocky Romero.
Okay.
So it's just I don't understand his thing whatsoever. But I was very happy to see Tom Lawler and see Tom Lawler pick up the W. So
and see Tom Lawler in his little shorts.
Yeah.
I especially like the little shorts
because he debuted those during the whole Von Erich rivalry at the beginning of 2020. So I'm glad he's keeping it. He's bringing them back after all these months. So it's goofy, for him doing it. And I think the commentaries even announced, like, is this his way to kind of get in his opponent's head, make them laugh, or it kind of looks like he's not being serious, but then he comes at you super hard. And But Tom Lawler advances to the next round of the Opera Cup. So yeah, the Opera Cup is underway. So check out MLW Fusion every Wednesday. But like I said, check them out on YouTube. It's much easier just to watch the shows.
There was a little video package of the Von Erichsen wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
With their dad in Hawaii.
I gotta ask,
with their family.
Yeah, Richard, do they all live like on the same piece of property?
They live on a compound.
Whoa,
that's wow.
Trippy. I mean, just see all them all together. So I guess they're all surrounded by each other. I would like to know how many acres that is. So it looks pretty cool from what I see on their Instagram. Like they're always. It looks like the two brothers do a lot of like maintenance.
It's
around
paradise.
Yeah, no, it looks great. So, very cool. And I love Tom Lawler's post match. Grabbed the mic, had the shades on, just being cocky. So, a lot of stuff to look forward to next week's episode, and of course, we'll break it down as well. All right. Jump on over to WWE Monday Night Raw this week. A lot of stuff to take into, so we'll power through this like we always do. Yep. Something for you guys that my initial takeaway that I enjoyed about this episode of Raw, it was the Fallout episode of Survivor Series. And I know for weeks leading up to Survivor Series, and a lot of people kind of criticize it, how it's just exhibitions, there's no stakes on the line, nothing major comes from it. I actually enjoyed this episode of Raw because they actually changed that premise. I enjoyed how Team Raw, since they swept SmackDown, all 5 guys were in the ring, and Adam Pearce came out and said, like, okay, since you guys did such a great job, you're like, he more or less said they're all like potentially number 1 contenders for the WWE Championship. So it's very cool as a reward for their great work in Survivor Series. That's what they're getting out of this. So, Richard, just your thoughts on, like, finally, it looks like we're kind of not necessarily stakes, but there's some sort of reward for their participation at Survivor Series.
I think that, one, we've said this, and I know everyone else thinks this. They need to stop pushing the brand supremacy thing because no one buys it.
Yeah.
But having stakes like this is what we all want. Like, make that the thing because it makes sense. Or give them the 30 spot in the Rumble or something. It doesn't. As long as there's something that they can get out of it, I think that's what we want.
Yeah, and it's a great little storyline that they were able to make out of this. So there was 5 of them. Braun Strowman headbutted Adam Pearce, and then it was reported he was suspended indefinitely. The rumor is Braun Strowman potentially might have allegedly hurt his knee during the Survivor Series match, so he's out of commission. Not sure for how long. But
suspended indefinitely.
So he's out of the picture, and so they have the 4 remaining guys. And also keep in mind, people as far as in the main event title scene over on Raw, Randy Orton, has a case here. And then also, I'm trying to think, who else am I missing?
Riddle.
Oh, Bobby Lashley as well. He approached Adam Pearce. He's like, hey, I'm the only title holder here on Raw that actually won at Survivor Series. So technically now 4 members of Team Raw and then these 2 other guys. Adam Pearce has 6 potential number 1 contenders here. So I love that he decided just to make, a set of matches here, and the winners of all those respected matches will then go on for the triple threat match this coming week on Raw. So I like that it's a fresh new set of storylines coming out of Survivor Series. So that's what I think is totally fine. As Richard, as you said, if moving forward, if that's something they can do every year with Survivor Series, that's fine. As far as it gives all these superstars some, it gives them a reason to want to compete, and therefore again opportunity to advance their own respective careers. So early on we saw the New Day defend their titles against, it was not title, against the Hurt Business. It was a title defense. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So New Day retains after they won by a count out, and then MVP called them back in, says, don't be, it was kind of weird. I was kind of taken off. It was almost like a heel as far as New Day wanted to leave. I'm like, no, we're done. And MVP had to call them back out to come back in the ring.
Basically want to restart.
Yeah, so let me ask you this, Richard. Do you think the Hurt Business are going to be the ones to eventually take the titles off the New Day?
I could see it. But what incarnation of the Hurt Business do you want to see win it?
I think it should be Shelton and Cedric. I think those two could be good.
It could be fun, too, where they do the Freebirds rule on the New Day, since there's only 2 New Day members now.
Oh,
yes.
And get MVP involved as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't think about that. That'd be cool.
Taste of their own medicine.
Yes. So next up, we also saw Riddle take on Sheamus. Whew, man.
Great match.
Yeah.
These two have such great chemistry. I mean, we saw a match earlier this year on SmackDown between the two of them, but dude, hard hitting. Sheamus even got on the ground. It was doing some like technical submission.
He grappled with Riddle. I mean, it's just a perfect mesh of Riddle's grappling technical style versus Sheamus's brawling powerhouse type of guy. You know, them just trying to work with each other, trying to match what they have in the ring. It's fun. It's great stuff.
Yeah, no, totally. So Riddle actually pulled off the victory and advanced to the triple threat match next week on Raw for the WWE title opportunity. Asuka and Lana were supposed to go at it, and then all of a sudden it turned into them working together, taking on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Non-title match, get the victory. I don't know if there's anything else major to talk about with that match, but good for Lana, I guess. Just kind of, I guess she really is becoming more of a baby face here.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next up, a match that, Richard, you were very much praising to us, but also on Instagram. Keith Lee taking on Bobby Lashley. That was another match for the chance to be a triple threat contender this week on Raw. But yeah, please tell me what about this match you love so much.
Bobby Lashley just works so well with the bigger guys.
Yeah.
Makes it this is the kind of match that reminds me we still haven't seen Lashley and Lesnar.
Yeah.
Because I mean, right off the bat, it's 2 mooses going out, and sometimes you'll have 2 big guys, like you'll have the Big Show against Kane or against Mark Henry, and on paper it's like, oh, these big monster guys, but then you see it and there's not much to it. It's a slower match, and but this was action packed and hard hitting, and we got blood in it, and Bobby Lashley and Keith Lee can match strength for strength, and it was awesome.
Yes, and plus they were so agile and quick in the ring. They were like, they're super heavyweights, but they move like cruiserweights.
Yeah, no, it was so much fun. Keith Lee won by DQ. So, I mean, it kind of sucks for Bobby Lashley not getting a victory here, but for Keith Lee, I kind of feel bad. Like, since he's been on Raw, I think he's only had one clean finish.
Against,
but who was it against?
Randy Orton.
True.
Yeah. But all of his other matches have been like DQs or just some wonky finish here. So it's like, I want him to kind of be booked stronger. It was a big deal. It was a big loss to NXT, losing him with the call up. You've
got to keep in mind, as new as he is to Vince, there's also a lot of people that he's that new to as well.
True. Yeah.
So it's sometimes you're hanging around and something catches the boss's eye, and then we need to put the rocket on this guy. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard that story with Shawn Michaels, but it's one of those deals where it's just kind of show him.
Yeah, so I get it as far as, listen, when you move up from NXT to Raw, there's just the roster's that much bigger, and so there's a lot.
But also when he was on NXT, he didn't have a lot of buzz until he pounced Adam Cole into the crowd.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden he's everyone's favorite wrestler. So he hasn't had that moment in front of the WWE universe yet, other than a shocking victory over Randy Orton.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, because I think for the longest time it seemed like he was constantly taking on Dominik Dijakovic, and they were going back and forth, and it took forever. And then I know Dominik got injured, right, and so Keith Lee wasn't used as much. It seemed, but they had that big match earlier this year. Back in January? Worlds Collide? Where was it Worlds Collide or was it Takeover?
I think it was Takeover Portland.
Takeover Portland. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah. So Takeover Portland, where it's like a big coming out party for Keith Lee there. And then I think that's where the momentum started building for his eventually, you know, when he won both titles over the summer or right before it. So, I guess you're right. You got to be a little patient because there's just a lot of guys on that roster. You kind of filter through and find the right storyline for them. Next up, Richard. So you were texting us earlier saying Alexa Bliss deserves an Emmy. She's just really come around. So we saw Alexa Bliss in the ring with Nikki Cross, and they're supposed to have a match. And then Alexa Bliss just kind of went psycho, right? I mean, please, from your perspective.
She was just playing, it was constant mind games.
Uh-huh.
You know, like she like playing tag or having Nikki chase her around the ring, and Alexa's just laughing her way through it.
Yeah.
And then she has an emotional breakdown where she's begging for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, oh my God, like this girl is not going to be at WWE long because someone from Hollywood's going to call her.
Yeah. No, I can see that. No, but it was great. She was just like very much like a
schizophrenic.
Yeah. Split personality. She was just like, you know, I need help me. And Nikki Cross is like all of a sudden stops ass kicking.
Not to take shots, but when you see this kind of thing in AEW or Impact, usually it's there's a tinge of theater kid in the act. You know what I mean? Where it's just kind of like, make sure you smile at the camera. And Alexa's whole bit is more like, if the camera misses it, then that's their loss. You know what I mean? Like,
okay,
she's invested in the character that she's dealt with right now, more so than I've seen other people deal with that character. And it's
like
so different.
Actor.
Yeah. She's really owning that character and like taking it very seriously, and it's coming through.
And we all knew it was going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could tell from that Braun Strowman Bray Wyatt swamp match that they had, or where the hell that was.
Yeah.
That was the best part of that whole thing. And then having her with Bray week after, because they did the Firefly Funhouse earlier in the night, and it's just when she killed that frog.
Yes.
But it's just like, I don't know. She's, I mean, Bray Wyatt, we've seen he can do fine on his own, but this is just adding another layer to everything that's so good.
Well, I think for Bray Wyatt's sake, it gives him a whole new layer and kind of keeps his character fresh because of the whole dynamic working with Alexa Bliss. And it's almost like, you know, Joker, Harley Quinn-esque as far as like a power couple working together, and they feed off each other. So it's very entertaining.
The other thing that makes it interesting is that she's essentially switched characters with Nikki Cross from when Nikki Cross was a member of Sanity.
Yeah.
So you've got this role reversal story on top of a friendship story on top of a brainwash story.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is layer on top of layer that's just like adding more and more, because Bray Wyatt really hasn't done much besides her. Like, you know, making her in his design.
Well, yeah, no, that's a good point, because you think about it, you know, over the summer, he finally beat Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman became Universal Champion, and then lost it a week later to Roman Reigns. So it was like this really strung out, or is that the right word? Or, long out storyline with Braun Strowman over the summer. And he finally overcame Braun Strowman, became Universal Champion, but then ultimately lose it a week later to Roman Reigns. So it was kind of like, it was very, I think before Alexa Bliss, it was very deflating. It's like, okay, what are you going to do with this character now? Like, where does he go from here? So having Alexa Bliss in the fold now, it's been a whole great new layer to him and his story. And it's almost like his protege. And so they're working together. So that's what, it's a whole new, because you don't know what's he going to do. You don't know what she's going to do and what the two of them could do together. Yeah. It's very limitless.
Yeah. Well, even when we saw The Miz against Bray Wyatt a week or so ago, like we saw Alexa just jump out of nowhere onto Morrison and take him out of the camera shot completely. And it was just like, what the the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Well, speaking of jumping out, so the last match of the night, the main event, was AJ Styles taking on Randy Orton for that last spot in the triple threat match for next week.
This was my favorite show of the week, and it had my favorite match of the week on it. And I can't say that since we've been doing that, I've said that about Raw.
Yeah. So was this match your favorite one of the week?
No. Lashley and Keith Lee
okay,
for sure.
Gotcha.
Yes.
It's funny because the commentators kept saying, "Oh, this is a WrestleMania level match," and they did wrestle each other.
Someone said it. Yeah.
But they wrestled each other at WrestleMania last year in Brooklyn. So it's like they do have history together.
Oh, yeah.
They're acting like it was a fresh new rivalry or one-off match. No, they have history together.
Yeah. This is another thing you can check off as to why I don't like Tom Phillips.
Well, so the thing
he has those flops all the time, and then he does interviews where he says that he's this big wrestling fan, but like he doesn't know who anyone is or what's happened. So it's just like
he's like another Michael Cole, a clone.
Michael Cole's not that bad anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he's been with WWE.
He's like old Michael Cole. Tom.
Old Michael Cole.
Yeah, early Michael Cole.
Taz and SmackDown era Cole.
Oh God.
Come on. No, but this match, I mean, come on. Listen, they're two arguably the best of their generation. It's come on. It didn't have a whole lot of time, but it was enough, I think, to get the story across. And then was it The Fiend showed up and popped his head up, scared Randy Orton.
Peekaboo.
Yeah, peekaboo. AJ got the victory, and so AJ Styles advances.
You could give me this week's Raw on this coming week's Raw, the same matches, and it'll probably still be the best show of the week. Everything was just so good this week.
Yeah,
and I want to see it all again.
Yeah, no, and then this
it was all clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, Raw this coming week should be really good, and to kind of see who's next up for Drew McIntyre. So it's interesting, for the Fiend, he's more obsessing with Randy Orton and not so much the title right now. So that's something very interesting to keep track of, because initially when he was kind of lurking, a few weeks ago, it was Miz, Randy Orton, and The Fiend going after Drew McIntyre. Obvious, The Fiend, his main goal was to go after Randy Orton here. So early predictions, who you might think win next week for the triple threat: AJ, Keith Lee, or Riddle. So you got two baby faces and one heel. So if you want to do the math that way,
AJ.
Yeah,
AJ.
AJ's probably going to be the one to win. So heel, then eventually take on Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
So we shall wait and see.
You mean Drew McIntyre?
Drew McIntyre, yes. Which I do. Okay, I give Adam Pearce. I will defend Adam Pearce. He had a head injury from Braun Strowman.
Concussed.
He was concussed. He had the head injury from Braun Strowman. So yeah, that's why he wasn't able to get the right words out for Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre. So I heard there's like T-shirts made. Someone made.
I had so much hate on my page for
what?
People are not happy with Adam Pearce.
Oh, come on.
Really? For what?
It's like, come on. Exactly. I had so many people saying that he's a disgrace to the WWE. And there were accounts that don't follow me, so I just blocked them.
Oh, okay.
So,
he's been
Get out of
great.
here
just
with
like
that nonsense.
He's been great. Like everyone,
He's my MVP.
Yeah, a lot of other wrestling shows that I follow, keep track of, everyone has been in agreement. They love Adam Pearce.
They all praise him.
Even though he's not commissioner, he's
how long do you think it's going to be till we see him wrestle someone?
Maybe Braun Strowman.
Maybe. I was thinking that.
For WrestleMania next year.
Bust him out. That'd be great. I mean,
I would like that.
He went on Corey Gray's podcast a week or so ago and said that if he had one match, it would be with Randy Orton. And I think that would be very, very interesting because both of them wrestle that old school NWA style.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, nonetheless, like I said, we love everything Adam Pearce has been doing. I know he's not officially the commissioner, but he acts like one as
he
far
is the
as
commissioner
WWE official. So yeah, no, it's been great stuff. So, all right, let's jump on over to Wednesday night this week, NXT. It's the second to last show before War Games coming up the following week.
War Games.
Kevin Owens was on commentary this week. Wade Barrett was not, as he announced the previous week. Rich, just curious, kind of your initial thoughts of Kevin Owens on commentary.
I mean, he's entertaining as hell. I really enjoyed his KO talking segment. What do they call that?
The KO
Kevin
show.
Owens show.
The Kevin Owens show. Yeah, that I found very entertaining because it's not something you see in NXT. So it just felt out of place in a refreshing way.
Yeah, because it's such a Raw or SmackDown type segment on this hard hitting.
Oh, you're not supposed to say the guy's name. He's gonna come out now.
And then he grabbed another chair and he's like, I told you I don't need the chair. Johnny Gargano's like, I don't need the chair. He threw the other one out. He's like, well, no, I anticipate someone else is coming out soon. So, and that was funny.
And he also name dropped Teddy Long.
Yes, no, that was great.
Playa.
And then William Regal came out.
Yeah.
And, he, a lot of fun. Kevin Owens. So Tommy and I were talking earlier. We really enjoyed his like dry sense of humor and his wit, but at times it just felt like his energy was a little low.
Oh, it was low.
He was super mellow.
Yeah.
He has his moments and taking pot shots or saying this and that, but like his energy was very low.
Yeah, but overall, a lot of fun still as far as the actual content, the words he was coming out of his mouth, and calling people out on certain things and whatnot. But no, as far as like the actual audio level, it was low.
I did enjoy. There was a point during the main event where he was saying that Roderick Strong should just jump over to that other podium and beat him up.
Well, even like with Kyle O'Reilly in the main event, he's like, I guess he must be my biggest fan. He has my name on his pads. So Kyle O'Reilly KO. So because Kyle O'Reilly has KO on his pads, so he says, that must be my biggest fan. So,
I missed that.
So that little detail, I was like, that is hilarious. Yeah. So let's run down through the card real quick. So Candice LeRae took on Ember Moon. Candice LeRae got the victory here after
Indy Hartwell
sacrificed herself and took Ember Moon's finisher, and then Candice LeRae was able to jump in and use her finisher, the Wicked. What's it called? The Wicked. Oh, there's so many moves.
The Wicked End, the Wicked Willow,
Wicked Witch of the West, whatever. But Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, Raquel and Dakota Kai all come out and start just beating up Ember Moon 4-on-1.
Yeah.
Ember Moon rolls out of the ring finally, and we see Toni Storm come out. Mm-hmm. And, they've been having a little bit of a friendship build the last couple weeks, and so they both go charging in, and Toni pulls out Ember Moon and starts hitting her too and beating her up. So Toni Storm, why, Toni? Why going heel?
Yeah, I'm just a little flabbergasted over it because, why? You've been a babyface throughout your whole career, and suddenly you just want to try this and be a heel, and I figured Indy Hartwell was going to be the fourth person for War Games, and if not, I was hoping Toni Storm would stay face, and I was thinking they were going to bring back maybe Mercedes Martinez or someone like that to join up with Candice LeRae and her gang.
Yeah, so let's talk about this real quick. So, Richie, your thoughts on Toni Storm turning heel here in this match or in this moment?
Two thumbs up.
Really? You're all for that? So, as Tommy said, she's more or less a baby face from NXT UK. Obviously,
how many baby faces do you need on the women's roster for NXT?
And that's the thing. There's not as many heels, I think.
You need more heels than you have baby faces.
And
the fact that we haven't seen her do that, I expect we're going to get some sort of outfit or costume change and just a different package for her.
Like Io Shirai.
Yeah.
So
well, and I kind of like this because I think, we assume the four for Team Candice were going to be her, Dakota Kai, Raquel, and Indy Hartwell. But Tommy, I think you're the one who told me Indy is still very green.
She's still very green.
New to NXT.
She has no experience for this War Games.
That's a big match. That's a big order to fill.
Even if she had more experience, it's still a better swerve the way they just did this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
Because now you're looking at what? We're looking at Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart, Rhea Ripley most likely, and maybe Io Shirai.
Yeah, so that was earlier on Twitter today, on NXT's Twitter, they did tweet out it's official. Amber Moon is going to be on Team Shotzi, and there was a video of Shotzi in the welding or whatever she's doing in the workshop,
like in a warehouse. Or something.
So Amber Moon comes up and joins her team. So
her
it's
apartment.
Yeah, that's what she does. She just does welding and all night long. But so it's official. Ember Moon is going to be on her team. And yeah, so the last 2 spots are open. Indy Hartwell, she's kind of like the 5th Beatle right now. I'm sure she probably might get involved in some scenario still at War Games. So keep that in mind. She'll be probably lurking around and getting involved like she has in previous Candice LeRae matches, like at Halloween Havoc. And keep in mind also later in the night when Indy was leaving with Candice, Johnny had the truck and they're ready to drive off, and there's still the ghost, the Scream figure ghost,
the ghost face
in the car. So there really was 2 ghost faces. But Kevin Owens was like, "What? Who is that? That person sitting there?"
It was kind of funny because Johnny and Candice look like they're like parents picking up their kids or whatever, and they got the kids in the back seat.
So I think a lot of people were speculating, is that Austin Theory, and we haven't seen him in a while. So
we haven't seen Mercedes Martinez in a while either.
So that's an interesting point. You guys brought that up. I did not think about that. So just jumping ahead real quick, just get all the women's stuff in one segment here. So Rhea Ripley came out and cut a promo. And she pretty much said, everyone's speculating where she's going to go with that hug. They thought she was leaving we all thought she was Raw or SmackDown bound, but she said she's staying on NXT. And then, Candice teams come out and beat her up. And so you would assume, okay, it looks like, Io was brought out, just lifeless. So I would anticipate it's probably going to be Shotzi, Amber Moon, Rhea, and Io. But Mercedes Martinez, that's a good, interesting pickup is there. Because I was trying to think, because literally this is like the 8 best women competitors on NXT.
I was saying more so that Mercedes could be the ghost.
Oh, okay.
And have it had been 2 ghost women.
Yeah, you're on to something here. Yeah.
Okay.
Could be a good swerve that way.
Yeah, totally.
Be thinking Austin Theory, but here comes Mercedes.
Yeah, so it was interesting. So Rhea Ripley looks like she's staying on NXT for now. So good for her. But I'm looking forward to this War Games match because it's like the 8 best in the women's division on NXT. My only concern though is like, okay, this is supposed to be Team Shotzi. She wasn't even on NXT this week, right? Like,
no, it's so a video package.
The video package. But everyone else was there, and so I don't know. I'm kind of like, this is your team. Like, you should be out there.
More Team Ember.
It's more Team Ember. So shouldn't you be kind of like recruiting people? Like, at least, I don't know, going around with like a pamphlet like, hey, join my team or something. I don't know.
What, like Robert Stone?
Yes.
The Robert Stone brand?
Jumping up, we saw Kushida take on Timothy Thatcher. Great technical match. Tommy, you're not a fan of Kushida wrestling in jeans.
No, I don't like the look.
We saw Ciampa sitting there just staring down Timothy Thatcher the whole time. And Timothy Thatcher, dude, I love his facial reaction, especially when he gets a little blood on his face and he just snarls, and it's so
he
intimidating.
Looks like a psycho killer.
But Kushida got the victory here, and unfortunately, the story here is just Timothy Thatcher and Ciampa building up their potential rivalry or program coming up very soon.
Right.
Also, we saw Cameron Grimes take on Jake Atlas. Poor Jake Atlas.
He's getting jobbed.
Yeah. But Cameron Grimes, he wins. And then Dexter Lumis comes out. And I really thought it was a creative way to challenge him to a strap match.
Yeah.
He had the drawings and the video package of what he's been doing in their matches thus far. And then pulls out the strap, and Cameron's like, no, throws it, goes running back to William Regal. Then William Regal told him, like, yeah, you're going to have a strap match at War Games. So, because Loomis had one before, right, with Roderick Strong.
Yes, he did.
So Loomis, he
was that the Great American Bash?
He has some experience here, so it should be interesting how Cameron Grimes deals with this.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of screaming in that match.
He's going to squeal like a pig.
Yeah, squeal like a pig. Also, we saw Everrise, one of my favorite tag teams in NXT, in the ring, but unfortunately, they got their ass kicked pretty quickly by a surprise debut, I guess, or return, but because they were in the Dusty Rhodes tag thing earlier this year.
The grizzled young veterans consist of James Drake and Zach Gibson.
I love, dressed up to the nines in their suits, and they kick some ass. So,
and basically we're just saying, we're here to take on all comers.
So, Richard, your thoughts on the tag team division getting more stacked now?
It's good for NXT, and it's a terrible loss for NXT UK.
True.
Right.
Absolutely. But as we kind of say in NXT UK,
it's also Zach Gibson's presentation on NXT UK is not the same without a crowd.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and this is something we were talking about off the air was I think we all kind of know now the routine. If you do really well at NXT UK, you graduate. It's like going from middle school to high school or high school to college. You go on to NXT Prime. And
a bigger audience.
Absolutely. So very happy for them. Also, I just want to get your thoughts real quick on the whole Xia Li Boa segment. They're like in a car. It looks like they haven't slept in weeks. And their master brings them into this room and they're begging for forgiveness, that they want one more chance to get a win. And then we see, appears to be a woman with, long hair.
Yeah.
And it cuts to black.
Yeah.
Any idea who this grand master is?
Nope.
It was like something.
I've got no idea, but I'm interested.
Yeah.
It was like something out of Big Trouble in Little China.
Also, just, the main event here. So the winner, we had a ladders match between Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly. And Kyle O'Reilly told Adam Cole he wanted to be the one since Pete Dunne beat him up with the chair last month. So the winner of this ladder match gets their team the advantage, or first one in for their War Games match. Man, guys, Richard, this was brutal, hard-hitting, one of the best one-on-one ladder matches I've seen in a long time. I'm not counting like Money in the Bank matches because those are, so intense, entertaining as it is. But as far as one-on-one ladder matches go, this is one of the best in recent memory.
I 100% agree. All of those innovative dragon leg sweeps were just brutal in the match.
Oh my God, yes.
And that leg vine that he got on Pete Dunne, when Pete Dunne was climbing the ladder and he was on the inside of it, was just like, that's good.
Yeah, as far as them both being very creative, using the ladder as a weapon, and as far as doing like very submission holds in the rungs of the ladder was so good. And, at one point Pete Dunne put Kyle's hand under the ladder and was like walking up the ladder, and, Kyle's hand's trapped under. I was like, oh, that's brutal. And, Pete Dunne, with falling back on one of the ladders and the suplexes that they were doing. Do yourself a favor. If you have not watched this match, watch it. I know we get kind of desensitized, I think, to ladder matches, specifically like with Money in the Bank. But this one and the Io Shirai, Candice LeRae one from Halloween Havoc, like within the last month, NXT's had two amazing one-on-one ladder matches. But no, it was very intense. Yeah. We saw a mystery person come out with a hood, a mask. Mm-hmm. Getting involved, cost Kyle O'Reilly the match. Pete Dunne ultimately gets the victory.
Yeah, he gets the bitter end on him.
Yeah, and gets the briefcase. We assume it might be Pat McAfee, but they never actually took the mask off. And Pat McAfee said he was at home in Indianapolis still. So who knows if it was really him or just trying to say it was him or not. So great main event here. And so I'm so hyped for War Games now. This is going to be great match, pay-per-view coming up in a couple weeks, or week and a half now, I would say. Or no, next week, I would say. Next weekend.
Yep.
All right, let's just jump through NXT UK this week. The main match here was the finals for the NXT UK Heritage Cup. A-Kid taking on Trent Seven. Tommy, I know you and I, we watched it together. We were just killing time on Thanksgiving night. This has been going on for the last few weeks on NXT UK. Big tournament for the Heritage Cup, which is, I guess, Richard, you were telling me before, like, I think NXT UK is going to use this as some sort of a title to defend, if I remember correctly. And I was a little taken back by it because it's not like a belt.
Well, I've got no idea about that. I think that was Tommy.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, but you were telling me, like, back in the day, wrestlers, before they had belts, they wrestled for cups.
Real trophies, yeah.
Or trophies, yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting how this is going to be used.
It's a lot easier to carry around a belt than a trophy from town to town.
Yes. Tommy, any thoughts that you had about this main event here?
It was very, very dramatic.
Yeah.
I just like the finish, how he just put Trent Seven, just pulled he cranked the neck, and it was just great stuff.
The thing I enjoyed was like the first round, they're kind of feeling each other out.
Right.
Then the next couple rounds, like the middle rounds, they A-Kid was getting a little frustrated, kicked the water out of Trent Seven's hand. And so the back and forth, the very good, hard-hitting, technical match. And Trent Seven, the veteran, ultimately, put over A-Kid. So A-Kid, I think this is a great opportunity for him. And I don't know too much about A-Kid prior to this, but I'm guessing A-Kid's going to become a major player in NXT UK, so something to keep your eyes on.
Possibly a contender for Walter.
Also, Jordan Devlin, he defended the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. He says he's the real champion against Amir Jordan, so that was cool to see him make his return. So I wonder if down the line, are we going to get NXT Cruiserweight Champion versus Cruiserweight Champion, Jordan Devlin versus Santos Escobar. I don't know, it'd be kind of cool to see that at some point. All right, let's jump on over to Friday Night SmackDown. Last but not least, Richard, just kind of your initial thoughts on SmackDown this week.
Pretty decent show. I really enjoyed. Probably the highlight for me was Jey Uso jumping Otis at the beginning, because that was just like really violent.
Yeah.
Like that first smack was just like, oh, got him.
Yeah, I was going to say, so that opening segment, as far as Roman Reigns calling out his cousin Jey Uso and just said, like, dude, Team SmackDown lost. You got swept. And it's obvious they don't listen to you. And if they don't listen to you, they don't respect me. They don't respect the family. Kind of just rubbing in his face, very much Godfather-esque, like just telling them, dude, you got to get your S together. You got to set an example. And I just love, like, Jey Uso's like really falling apart mentally. Like, he's breaking down because he's very, very much torn, because we know he's been a babyface as of late, but yet he wants to please his cousin, not only to stay in the family, but he doesn't want to get a beatdown again that we've seen twice on pay-per-views as of late. So it's I really like, it's like, it was really for Jey Uso, the character building here is just really the destruction of Jey Uso and him falling apart mentally. Just is such inner turmoil. So it was let loose, as you said, just took the chair shot to Otis and beat up poor Otis and got a beat down here. And then, so this was kind of the story thread throughout the night. Street Profits lost to Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, which I don't know. I feel bad for Street Profits because I feel like there's not enough tag teams to challenge them right now. So it was just a good filler match. Sami Zayn defended the IC Championship against Daniel Bryan. Richard, your thoughts on this match here?
Not as good as the internet made it sound like it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I actually liked the tag match before this better.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay.
Well, the story here, as they said beforehand, the video package, like Daniel Bryan previously said, like the IC title needs to be like the working man's championship defended every week on SmackDown, just kind of give it some more pride. While Sami Zayn's been the opposite. He's been, cheating his way, tying guys up and, getting countouts, these like DQs, all these like wonky finishes. And so obviously he's very much the opposite of what Daniel Bryan thinks a good IC champion should be. And for me, I enjoyed seeing Daniel Bryan on TV. I know he's going to be going pretty much part-time wrestling pretty soon, I think starting next year. So anytime we get Daniel Bryan on our TV screen, I'm super happy and try to enjoy as much as I can. But so they run to the back, and Sami Zayn comes back and beats the 10 count. Daniel Bryan's nowhere to be found, and we see Jey Uso beating the crap out of him. Kevin Owens gets involved, and then Kevin Owens confronts Roman Reigns and says, what do you think of Kevin Owens in this situation, as far as kind of be like stand up to the bully, as far as he sees what Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are doing to the other members of the SmackDown roster, and he's kind of standing up for them and calling them out on their ass, and ultimately led to a match between the two, between Jey and Kevin Owens here.
I know that Kevin Owens has been trying to be a babyface for over a year now. I like him as a heel.
Okay.
I think he's a natural heel, and him as a babyface just feels unnatural to me. However,
really?
Him during the match and after the match, I felt like we saw the old Kevin Owens that we haven't seen since he was Universal Champion.
Right.
Yeah. So before we get to the main event real quick, let's just run down. So Bianca Belair defeated Natty. Cool. Good. I think the main thing was Bayley on commentary. And it looks like Bianca and Belair and Bayley are going to have a program coming up, which I'm all for. That's going to be a lot of fun. Murphy, along with his extended Rey Mysterio family now, take on King Corbin. And very much Murphy's family is very much acting kind of heelish as far as they were interfering against King Corbin and cost King Corbin the match. And so for Buddy Murphy, like, I just didn't think it made him look too strong, that the fact that the Mysterio family helped him get this win here. And then King Corbin said, I'll be ready next week. So I don't know if King Corbin's going to be debuting a new faction or some help. So that's going to be pretty interesting for next for them. So let's go jump into the main event. Jey Uso taking on Kevin Owens. Great hard-hitting match, but the big takeaway was how Jey snapped, used a chair, lost by DQ. Kevin Owens wins. And Kevin Owens getting a beatdown, but he was able to overcome Jey and lay back into him and use a chair shot. And I love that he kept like beating up Jey, but then talking to the camera. And then you cut to Roman Reigns in the back watching the TV, and Kevin Owens therefore is like talking to him. And so that back and forth camera work. Yeah, Richard, what are your kind of thoughts on just how that whole the last segment of SmackDown played out?
I like it. I think we're going to expect a pretty good match with those two, considering how much they've worked in the past and how long it's been since we've seen them wrestle each other. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that Kevin Owens is the guy that's going to beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah, unfortunately, like for Kevin Owens, as big of fans as we are, and how SmackDown ended and made him look strong. Yeah, Roman Reigns, he's not going to lose anytime soon. So this is just another opponent, fresh opponent for Roman Reigns to take on and lay a beating on. So for Kevin Owens, I appreciate him looking strong and talking back and, standing up to the bully. But in this scenario, yeah, Roman, I think, is going to lay a huge beating on Kevin Owens at, I'm guessing it's going to be leading up to TLC. So, do you think it's going to be it might be a chair match just because of the fact that a chair was used so much in this conclusion for SmackDown?
I have no idea.
Well, anyway, yeah, it was great as far as, I really enjoyed just this whole finish here, and really Kevin Owens set up, just his potential match and rivalry program here with Roman Reigns. So looking forward to that. So I enjoy it as far as this SmackDown. There's also the fallout from Survivor Series. And you saw the repercussions for somewhat their bad performance there play out. And also, but it really just built up and took over a lot of new stories moving forward. So a lot of stuff to look forward to on SmackDown in the weeks to come as they built TLC happening on December 20th on the WWE Network. So on that note, let's wrap things up. Richard, where can the Kliqsters find you online? Not the clickbait.
I'm going to revert the clickbaiters to I'm not going to plug myself this week. I'm going to say go over to Melissa Coates' Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram page. She is the super genie that tours with Sabu. She's a former wrestler herself, and she had her leg amputated not that long ago due to blood clots.
Oh, no.
So they set up a GoFundMe, and if anyone can help, go check out her GoFundMe page.
Oh, okay. Well, I will definitely share that link as well on In The Kliq's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram pages as well. No, so thank you for sharing that. So by all means, help out any way you can. Tommy, where can the Kliqsters find you?
Well, you can always find me on Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982.
And I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. Follow In The Kliq on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as well. Just search for at In The Kliq, inthethe@gmail.com. And please rate, comment, share the podcast, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.